I'm going to confess something to everybody. And you might not believe that this is true, but this is an actual fact. Mel Robbins does laundry when she runs out of underwear. That is when I do my laundry. And it's at that moment, because I do believe I deserve clean underwear. I'm beyond the days of college where I would sometimes turn them inside out. Don't tell me you haven't done that in a pinch, everybody. That's the tipping point. And I want to stay on this topic of why some of these simple or seemingly simple chores or tasks of taking care of yourself can be so daunting. And let's talk about showering, because one of the things that I noticed in the 56 pages of DMs that we received in a matter of 12 hours from our audience about feeling overwhelmed by chores or taking care of yourself. Showers kept coming up. I'm going to read some from our listeners. One of my first indicators that I'm slipping into a funk is I start avoiding showers. Perhaps it's a reflection of how I subconsciously view myself, but I can't even find the energy to want to. Another one, I say to myself, I can sit here and do nothing and feel like crap, or I can move and do things and feel crappy. But on my worst mental health days, even taking a shower is so incredibly exhausting. Here's another one. My self-doubt got so bad after a breakup at one point, even the thought of showering was exhausting. Can you help us understand why something that seems on the surface like something that you would do every day, it's not that big of a deal, is actually daunting?
Well, it really comes down to brain science and the way that your brain works. I mean, we have the part of your brain that does things like make the decision to get up and do something, time management, changing your focus, shifting your focus back and forth, maintaining that motivation. All of these little things are called executive functions. And everyone has had the experience of maybe having a stressful day at work or a lot going on, and you're thinking and you're thinking and you're thinking, and you just hit a wall and your brain goes, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore.
I call that Tuesday.
Yeah. And that happens to us. It happens to us under stress. It happens to us with sleep deprivation. It happens to us with physical pain. It happens to us if we've just had a lot to do that day. It happens to us if there's a lot of emotional things going on. And it happens to us if we have a disorder or a struggle that just biologically compromises those executive functions. So if we have ADHD, autism, PTSD, depression, anxiety, OCD, all of those things. And so we think showering is this simple 2-step process. It's more like 35 steps. And when your executive functions are firing properly, it runs like autopilot. It runs like autopilot. I mean, think about getting on a plane and taking off, and you're thinking, okay, you get on the plane, you take off. But if you were to look at that from the perspective of the guy in the air traffic control,
yeah,
and how much he's doing, you got these planes in the air, these planes here, move this plane over there, land this one, take off this one, this one needs to stall, this one needs to go in a circle, and move this plane over there, and we have a service issue on this plane, so back it up off of this one, and I need this plane to kind of circle around for a while I address this. And that is how complex your brain is when it is trying to do even a simple task. And that is your executive functioning. It's trying to deal with your emotions, your thoughts, the time management, your behaviors. What behavior should it initiate? What feelings are coming in? What things do you need to what information do you need to consider about the rest of your day? I mean, it is that complex.
Not to mention what the pilot's doing. Walk us through these invisible 35 steps, or at least the first couple, so that you really break this down and allow the person listening to understand that when you're overwhelmed, this isn't just hop in the shower and hop out. This is a series of conscious decisions and actions that you need to take at a moment in time where you already feel like you're moving in quicksand. So let's just break down something simple like showering or brushing your teeth.
So wherever you are, you have to think about the shower. That's step one. Then you're going to have feelings about the shower, and you're going to have to navigate those feelings. And so however many steps that takes you, you're going to have some thoughts about whether or not you do or do not want to shower. And you're going to have to contend with those thoughts. So you just read those people's examples and you can hear their first step. Oh, I haven't done this in so long. Oh, what a piece of junk I am. I'm so dirty. I'm ashamed. I can't let anybody know about this. So already we're in a hard spot. Now we're having to contend with a bunch of emotions that make us feel like failures. And our brain is naturally going to want to go, nope, we need to move away. We need to move away from the thing that makes us feel like a failure. You are going to need to make a motor plan to stand up, and you're going to stand up. You're going to have to think about whether or not you have time to shower. Maybe you need to also deal with the time management aspect. Do you have time to take a shower? Short shower, long shower? What else do you have to do today? Do you need to go pick something up? You don't want to do that dirty, but you also want to go exercise. And so you don't want to do that clean. And you got to figure all that out in your brain.
Where are the kids? What's happening with the dogs?
Exactly.
Is the roommate here?
How much time do you have to shower? Do you need to set an alarm? Do you need to get some clean towels? Do you have clothes to wear? You need to think about what you're doing that day. That's a step, right? Like if I want to go to drop something off for my kid at school and I don't want to look dirty to do it, but also I wanted to go exercise and I don't want to go exercise clean. That seems silly. So you got to figure that out. This is all before we've even gotten to the bathroom, by the way. And so we're going to go to the bathroom. On the way to the bathroom, one really important step is ignoring all of the stimuli coming in on the way to the bathroom. So if you see other things that need to be done, other things that are going to try to take your attention, so we get to the shower.
Oh, the shower's dirty. Why did my roommate leave their razor in here? What time is it? Who's around? Like all of it.
Now you have to take your clothes off. And that might bring lots of steps. That might bring in some steps dealing with how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your body. That's going to bring in maybe some sensory issues. Are you cold? Are you hot? Do you need to do something different? Do you want to adjust the temperature? Do you want to turn on it? Like all those steps, right? Now we have to turn on the water. So we can turn the water on. Now we have to wait. We have to wait for it to get to a certain temperature, and then we need to adjust it. And let's hope that your water's working and on, by the way, or we're going to have to take some time to think about the financial struggles that you're under. Or, that you don't have one of those ones that either gives you ice cold or lava of Mordor, because then we can think about our plumbing for a while. So you get it right to where it needs to be. Your clothes are off. You make sure you have a towel. You make sure you have a bath mat. You get in. You make sure that you have your shampoo and your this and your that. And did you get your razor out? Because I'm always getting in and realizing I don't have my razor because I've taken something out of the thing, right? Now you have to decide kind of what order you're going to go in. People feel very strongly about this. So you're going to wash your hair and you're going to do it right. And then you're going to think about how you're supposed to wash it twice, but maybe you won't. And what does that mean? And then you're going to have just like random thoughts.
Do I have shampoo? Do I want to blow dry my hair? If I get my hair wet, should I get my hair wet? If I'm not getting my hair wet, where is the thing to put my hair up in?
There's lots of steps in processing the random thoughts, and so you don't get distracted and just stand there. Then you're going to do the conditioner. So maybe you rinse, washed, repeat. Maybe you didn't. What's happening with that water? Do you have other things going on? Are you wanting to run the dishwasher? Does somebody else need to take a shower? How long can you sit here under this hot water? So we're going to do that. Then you're going to do your body. Do you have the soap? Do you have a loofah? Are you going to use your loofah? What order are you going to go in on your body so you don't end up washing your face right after your ass, right? You're going to do all of that. Then let's think about like, what cosmetic things are we going to do in here? Are we going to shave our legs? Are we going to shave our armpits? Do we want to do any of that? Let's, maybe we do our face in here. Maybe we brush our teeth in here. We have to make all of those decisions. Then we have to stand there under this warm, amazing water and think about the fact we have to get out. You might have to think about what time it is. You might have to answer a child. You might have to think about, okay, now we have to psych ourselves up to get out of this warmth. So then you have to make the decision to turn it off. Then you have to make the decision to probably dry your hair or wrap your hair up. Then you get your other towel. You have to dry your body. You have to get out of the shower. You have to contend with the sensory change. You have to decide, am I going to just stand here and look at my phone on the bed? Or, am I going to completely go, do I want to get a brand new towel that's clean and dry? Or do I want to go with this damp one I have around my body? Then you have to decide where to throw those towels. Are they going to go on the floor? Are they going to go in the hamper? Do you have a hamper? Are you going to hang them back up to use them again? When is the last time you used that towel, by the way? Is it ready to go in the hamper, or can you put it back up on the thing? Okay, now you're naked. Now what are you going to do? Are you going to put clothes on immediately? Is it the clothes you're going to go out in? Are you at that weird damp phase where maybe you don't want to quite put your clothes on, but you don't want to stand there naked? So maybe you go to your closet and you go get your clothes on, and then you come back, and then you have to decide. All of this is still like the act of showering, and we haven't even put our clothes on or done our hair. And when you're already under stress, it's not just that first step you have to like psych yourself up for and consciously do. You're having to put that much energy into every step.
Makes sense.
Right?
You know what's interesting is that I went for a walk this morning and I was going to take a shower. But when I got there, I started considering how much time. And then I realized I hadn't fed the dogs yet. And then I looked down at the floor and there was no bath mat there. And I thought, I don't want to get out of the shower and then have it track water everywhere. And then I looked at the towels and then I thought, if I could lay down a towel, but then I'm gonna have to wash that towel because then I'm not going to want to take a towel that I stepped on with my dirty ass feet around my body. You're right.
And then you're thinking about the laundry that got piled up because you had the guests and everybody used the towels and, oh, maybe you should actually go do the laundry, right? Like that's the attention shifting focus, right? So if any of that's impaired, you're just staring and you're paralyzed and you're frozen, right?
Wow.
Showers are also boring. Like, can we just get real? Like I enjoy them when I'm in them, sure, but they're freaking boring. There's nothing to look at. There's nothing to listen to. There's nothing to do but think your own thoughts. And if you don't want to be doing that, that's another like hard part about the shower. We haven't even touched whether you have any physical issues. Do you have pain in your body? Are you tired? Do you get lightheaded when you stand? Do you have, right? Like any of that.
Wow. I hadn't even considered that. Another, self-care kind of thing that a lot of people talked about was brushing their teeth.
Mm-hmm. It's the number one thing that comes up when people talk about how the thing they are most ashamed to struggle with is brushing their teeth.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is, that they're ashamed of that?
There's so much messaging around dirtiness and cleanliness when it comes to our body. To be dirty is to be gross, to be disgusting. And when you're struggling with that, we don't talk about that a lot. So you're thinking you're the only one struggling with it. You're the only gross one. And so you better not let anyone know how gross you are, because who would love such a gross person? And so now we're not just dealing with maybe some executive functioning or some mood issues or some frustration or whatever it is to go brush your teeth. We're dealing with the whole weight of what a piece of shit you are, that you can't get enough together to be a basic human being. Do you even deserve clean teeth? I mean, it just gets real dark real fast.
Well, that's why I wanted to talk to you, because, the topic of shame and self-hatred or self-criticism is this big kind of heady topic. And I love your work because you're identifying the ways in which it creeps in an insidious way into the day-to-day aspects of our life. And if you're living your life in a way where I think all of us are, you see a pile of laundry, there's evidence that you don't have your act together. You see a dirty, messy house, there's evidence that you don't have your act together and you better not invite friends over. You see the fridge has sour milk in it like mine did this morning. It's evidence that you just can't get it done. And you're never going to get it done. And when you talk about the number one thing that people are ashamed about when it comes to not being able to really have yourself together, being brushing your teeth and the pounding that you give yourself for just not being able to do that, I will share with everybody because it's occurring to me. This is a way in which shame and judgment has crept into my life. There are lots of mornings where I'm either running late or I'm too tired because, I've got this electric toothbrush and you're supposed to do it for 2 minutes and I don't feel like doing it for 2 minutes. And then I have this other thing too, where this is probably getting to be too much TMI, everybody, but I'm just going there. Okay. I have a really weird, gag reflex. It's like super triggery. Like I can't brush my tongue, you guys. Like I'm embarrassed to admit this. Like what's wrong with me that it's like, and so then I never brush my teeth for the 2 minutes that you're supposed to. I always turn it off early. I get bored while I'm doing it. And just recently, my dog chewed up the end of it. I went for probably 5 days without a toothbrush. Yeah. So what did I do? I swizzled the Listerine and I'd pop a thing of gum in my mouth. But then I felt bad all day. Like there's something wrong with me. Like I've got
there's not
carpeting on my teeth. No, I
There's
don't,
nothing
because I
wrong with
just
you.
chewed it off with a piece of gum.
I brush my teeth at best every other day. It's been a struggle since I had my second kid. And one of the things that is so interesting about, and this is the same with every other care task, when you begin to speak about it plainly and without shame, like we're doing right now, it's important to remember that we're not just talking about breaking free from shame because it's a nice thing to do, or because, it's warm and fuzzy to like feel nice about yourself. It is because research has shown that being sort of drowning in shame arrests your psychological functioning. And that compassion and self-compassion actually increases your psychological functioning. So I don't just want you to step away from shame because, rah, rah, you deserve it, although I do think that's true. I want you to have better functioning in your life, better quality of life. And just from a practical standpoint, it is going to require we step out of shame. And a lot of us don't want to let go of shame because we feel as though beating ourselves up is the atonement that we can pay for not being good enough. It's this weird way of trying to regain some sense of worthiness because I may not be worthy, but I know that it's a good thing to hate bad things. So at least I hate myself. At least that one part of me is worthy.
Is it just me? Or some days does it feel freaking impossible to stay on top of everything you have to do at home? I mean, from the laundry to the dishes to dinner to groceries, pick up this, pick up that, walk the dogs, feed the cat. It is endless. Well, guess what? I found this amazing woman, Casey Davis, and she is here to show us when you can remove the shame from your to-do list, you will improve your life immediately.